Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, I would like to show you all of the summer projects that I have planned out, and this was a really hard list to whittle down because I have so many ideas. The summertime is my favorite season for making and wearing clothes. I love bright colors and airy, swishy fabrics like linen, viscose, and cotton. I like not being cold, and I love working with woven fabrics versus jersey, which I usually sew more in the fall and the winter, and which aren't always my friends when it comes to accuracy and ease of stitching, and so I'm so excited. But yeah, it was really hard to get this list down to 16 things, which is a lot. I will likely not get to all 16 projects, but I really want to, and in case it inspires you like it inspires me, I figured I'd share them anyway. And so get comfy, maybe grab a drink of choice. This is going to be on the longer side, and let's get right to it. But before we begin, I wanted to really quickly introduce myself in case you're new here. My name is Sarah. Hello and welcome. I am a self-taught sewist, and I have been sewing for over 10 years now. I am based in Paris, France, even though I am originally from the US. And on this channel, I mostly talk about my sewing projects, a little bit of knitting and embroidery when I dabble in them from time to time. And I share a little bit of what it's like to live in France because that influences what I make and what I wear. And so I hope you enjoy and welcome. So to start with my priority sewing projects, I recently went to Japan with my husband, and it was an amazing trip. And I found some really beautiful Japanese fabrics, and then especially watching what people were wearing, I got inspired as to types of garments that I'd like to try, silhouettes, and then styling that I would like to try as well. And so the first project that I would like to get to is with this really gorgeous indigo fabric. It has this custody dyeing method sort of print with these different panels. Let's see if I hold it up this way if you can see. And I found this at Nomura Tailor in Kyoto, which is a very well-known fabric shop in Kyoto. Oh, it was gorgeous. If you're ever in Kyoto, you have to go. So it is 100% cotton. It is not very stiff, but it has a pretty solid weave to it. And it has a lovely drape. It is opaque, and I want to make the seamwork ruby dress. This is one of their latest patterns that just came out, I think, for June, and I love it. I love the vintage shape of it, the square neckline, and then the nipped-in waist with an adjustable waist tie, the straight skirt, and I love the little details of it as well, as in it has not only the adjustable waist tie to nip in the waist, but also provide some ease so you can loosen it or tighten it as you'd like, or to get your shoulders into the garment. And then it also has a little elasticated panel in the back, which I find really ingenious for helping to get it on and then ease of wear. And so, I love it. I want to try it. It reminds me very much of the sew over Una dress in shape, except that it has a waist tie instead of a waist elastic. It has a more A-line, like a very soft, no, it's a straight skirt, but it looks a little bit more A-line than the sew over Una dress, which is a little bit more pencil shaped, or maybe it is straight, but it doesn't include as much ease. The main issue I have with the sew over Una dress is that even though it is beautiful, it is not very comfortable to wear. As in, even when I made it in a slightly stretchy green fabric last year or 2 years ago, it's still pretty tight, especially around the bust and the hips. And I could integrate more ease into it, but I'd have to hack the pattern. And with the sew over Una dress, for example, I added myself an invisible zipper and opening at the side seam to be able to get in and out of it easier, because my shoulders are much wider than my waist. And so I'm excited to try this, and I think that because this pattern is pretty simple in design in that there aren't darts, there's just gathering at the bust for ease, and then yeah, it's a simple straight shape, so I think that it will display this fabric really beautifully, and I'll be able to take advantage of the custody panels and show them off without breaking up the lines too much or breaking up the pattern too much. And I'm so excited to get to it. This is very narrow fabric, so it is about a meter wide, and I was only able to get 1.8 meters because it was the very last bit that they had on the roll. So I will be crossing my fingers, and I might have to get kind of creative while pattern placing and with the inner bits like the pocket pieces. So yeah, I can't wait. The second project I'd like to make is in this really gorgeous blue and white striped cotton fabric that I found in Craft Heart Tokai in Matsuyama, also in Japan. And Japanese cottons are just some of the best quality I've ever touched or worked with before. And what I really love about Japanese cottons is that they have texture and suppleness to them, even though they're 100% cotton and basic, you know, a cotton weave. It's not smooth. It's got this little, I don't know, texture to it, almost like a seersucker fabric. It's not gauze, but I love it. And I love these teeny tiny stripes. It's a gray blue color, and it just feels really comfortable, soft, kind of squishy, but bouncy at the same time. Oh, I can't wait. And I would like to make the silverette Lottie dress out of this one. I have 3 versions already. I have one in a striped blue and white cotton shirting, 1 or 2 in cotton gauze, so one in a beige fabric with little sort of paint splotches in dark blue, and then another Japanese cotton gauze version in this yellowy, pinky cotton gauze that I purchased from my very first trip to Nomura Tailor in Kyoto in 2019. I love this dress, especially when it is really, really hot. It is the first dress that I reach for when we're experiencing a heat wave. We do not have air conditioning in my house like many French households, and so it is a game of opening and closing the windows and the shutters, staying in the dark, and wearing light cotton dresses like this one. And so I think that I'd like to make it out of this fabric, especially because I love my blue and white striped cotton shirting version, but because it's cotton shirting, it's very smooth, very tightly woven, and it looks more business casual than casual. And because it's so tightly woven, it's tighter, as in it feels firmer against the skin, and then when I sit down it doesn't have as much give, so it's not as comfortable to wear. And so I would like to make it in this to sort of almost not replace the cotton shirting one, but to make it more wearable at home, since I lost my job last July and I am now working from home on this channel and not working in an office, and so I have fewer occasions to wear that cotton shirting version, and I think that this one will get lots of wear and will feel super comfortable against the skin and cool. The next project I would like to make is out of this really, really gorgeous cotton gauze. You're gonna hear me say that very often, really, really beautiful, really, really gorgeous, because they all are. I found this also at Nomura Tailor in Kyoto, and it's 100% cotton, even though it could be a little bit polyester. It feels stiffer, like a tulle, almost like a tulle fabric, but it is 100% cotton. I checked on the label, and it's got this really interesting check texture to it, and it is transparent and gauzy and lovely, and it has a little bit less stiffness now that I've pre-washed it. So if you saw it in my Japanese fabric haul or what I brought back from Japan video, it was stiffer. So I think it was starched originally, or it had some kind of stiffening agent in the fabric before I washed it, but it still has a good amount of body, and I want to make the seamwork West top. So this is a button-down, very relaxed shirt. It has a notched collar, and rather than structural elements like darts, it has gathers in the shoulders and in the back yoke, bottom half, for a little bit extra ease and shaping and movement. And I've been wanting to make this pattern since it published last year, but I haven't found the right fabric yet until I found this. I absolutely love, for example, the Closet Core Patterns periwinkle top that I made in a linen and viscose, really light, flowy fabric last year, and so I've been thinking about making more button-down shirts in light flowy fabrics, and so I think that it will be perfect, because I think that with the gathers in the shoulder seam and the bottom of the yoke in the back, I think with an opaque fabric in this sort of body and stiffness, it might be a little bit too bulky for my taste, whereas because it's a little bit transparent, my silhouette will be you'll see my silhouette underneath, and so it won't look as bulky. I will have to pair it with a camisole underneath, but I don't mind. I really like that style. And I'm so excited to work with this fabric and with this pattern. While I was in Japan, I was also paying attention to what people were wearing, the sorts of styles, silhouettes, and fibers, colors, and very inspired. So Japanese style is much more oversized and loose than what I typically wear. I typically wear garments that are a little bit more fitted, the silhouette a little bit more feminine, a little bit less baby doll, for example. But I was very inspired, and I went book shopping, which made me happy because I was looking for Japanese sewing patterns in books and then also Japanese embroidery books, and I found this one, for example, that really inspired me in the colors and styles, and it's still oversized relaxed garments but really, really interesting details, and so I picked this one up. It is, I can't pronounce the Japanese title, but a translation tool told me that it means about stylish adult clothes that are quick to make but a little bit elaborate by Ayumi Kijitani. And it is the Heartwarming series by Vogue Japan, I think. I think it's published by Vogue Japan or something like that. It's just lovely. The designs in here are really, really pretty. And so I'm going to be creating a sewing vlog video where I make 3 of the patterns, I think 3, if I can get to 3, from this book, including I'm going to make the cover top because even though it's a bit more oversized than my style typically, it has this really, really interesting cuff detail, and the cuff is pleated and folded at the same time, and it's 3/4 lengths, and even though the top is oversized, I really like the sort of wider circular neckline. I think it's really, really pretty, especially in a neutral, beautiful fiber like they made it in this version. And then I also want to make this top. It looks like they almost used a Cupro fabric for this one, but it's actually, I think, cotton. No, did they use Cupro? I think they did, actually. I can't read it, so we'll just have to assume. And this is meant to be more of an at-home sort of loungewear top, and it's got a wider boat neck neckline than the first one, and then these elbow-length elasticated cuff sleeves that I think are really, really beautiful. And so I'm going to make those 2. I'm still waiting on the fabric to arrive, so I can't show you that. I'll have to wait for the video. And then I also want to make a pair of pants. So they didn't feature these pants in the picture part of the book, but I want to make these pants. So these 2 are the same pattern, but different leg styles. This one is fitted, this is more wide leg, and I'm going to make the wide leg version. It's got slash pockets, an elasticated waistband, and it just looks really classic and lovely, and a little bit less wide leg than the Seamrich Joss pants that I usually make, for example. So I won't say more about that for now because I will be making an entire sewing vlog about this. Let me know if that interests you and what you'd like to see. So for example, I will be translating the instructions, which are all in Japanese, but they're all step-by-step illustrated as well, which really, really helps. And I know some construction without looking at the instructions, so I just need help with the details, for example. And from what I've seen already, just translating with Google Translate, the camera function, there are some really clever finishing details or different construction techniques that I find really interesting. So I think that I'm going to learn things with this pattern as well. And then tracing the patterns is going to be difficult too because they're all layered and gosh. So you'll see me through the trials and tribulations of making Japanese patterns very, very soon. And I'm excited to get to them. The next 2 projects I would like to work on are mending projects because I did some mending last season and it felt so empowering, so great to be able to take older beloved pieces from my wardrobe or pieces that I had recently made but didn't wear because they didn't fit correctly and correct the fit and be able to renew it in my wardrobe, which felt great. It does involve more problem solving and more patience and more trial and error, but it is extra rewarding when it works out. And so I have 2 projects that I would like to work on this season. One is altering fit to make it wearable, and then the other one is an upcycling project. So the first thing I want to work on is this Sew Over It Aran skirt that I made, I think 2 years ago. Yeah, back in 2024 for my honeymoon in Japan. And I love it. It's in this stretch cotton twill in this baby blue color, but it is too tight on me now. So the waistband sort of hugs me in a way that's very, very uncomfortable, and down to about the hips, it's just too tight and it gathers like bunches in a really weird way, and it's just not comfortable. I haven't reached for it in the past year or so. And so what I'm going to do is I have some of this fabric left over. I have, I think, about 1/2 meter with pieces cut out, so I'll have to be careful. But I think what I'm going to do is insert a panel here at the side seam, just like cut it here and then insert a panel that will be more of a diagonal shape, so wider at the top and slimmer at the bottom until it sort of just disappears. The point disappears here at about the hip on both sides. And I think it'll be pretty subtle. I don't think it'll be super, super noticeable because it will be in the same fabric. I was thinking of adding sashiko or something to sort of highlight this repair. But because this fabric is slightly elastic and sashiko reinforces the non-elasticity of a fabric, it wouldn't be a good idea. So I think I will do that, especially because on the inside I trimmed all of the seam allowances down and I have no wiggle room with that. And so yeah, I hope that I will make this wearable again and be able to wear it far into the future. The second project is an upcycling project, and it is with this Tailor loft blouse that my mom gave me. So she ordered this and it didn't fit her correctly and it wasn't her style, and so she asked me if I wanted it when I was visiting her a few years ago. And it's not my style either. It's a very, very boxy top with poofy sleeves, but it has this interesting keyhole opening in the back, and it's this really beautiful viscose linen fabric in these interesting, almost paisley flower colors. And I think that the colors suit me, and the fabric is super soft and lovely, and so I'd like to upcycle this fabric. So I will be taking apart this blouse and reusing the fabric, and I think that what I would like to make, or what I'd like to try to make, is the Closet Core Crew pattern Josephine, the top. So it is a square neck woven tank top with wide bra-friendly straps. It has a slight A-line shape and it's cropped, so it would be kind of difficult to tuck it in, I think, but I think that will work well with this because I probably don't have very much fabric, but I might extend it just a little bit so I can tuck it in. And then what I love about this one is the button detail on the back. I think it's really, really pretty and light and airy for summertime, but also bra-friendly, which is perfect. So I will be trying to get that out of this. I'm thinking of making a mending upcycling video to show you how I update these two pieces to be wearable in my wardrobe. And so let me know if that would interest you, and I will take your comments into consideration and perhaps plan that. The next project that I'd like to work on is the one that intimidates me the most, but is perhaps the most important one for the summer season, and it is a bathing suit. I would like to make the Closet Core Patterns Bianca bathing suit that I started making last season, but that I didn't finish, as you can see here. So I cut out all the pieces. I think that I even graded between sizes. I'll have to get back to my notes and get my head back into the project. I have not yet because I'm intimidated. But I have this really lovely fabric. Let me open this bag for you. But I have this really lovely fabric. It's, I think, recycled polyester fabric from Pretty Mercery, which is a French online shop that recently went out of business, which is really sad. But it's this really lovely print. It's an abstract black and white, but I think that it's not quite, ooh, there's a little stain on there. It's not quite black and white. It looks almost like a navy blue. It's a softer contrast and color. Yeah, I think that's navy blue versus black, even though it's supposed to be black. And it's just really lovely. It's opaque. It's a thicker bathing suit fabric, so I will be lining it, but I don't need to worry about transparency. And I think it'll be even easier to stitch because it is a firmer bathing suit fabric, and so I need to get to that. I need to motivate myself and just do it. Because I do have bathing suits that I've made in the past. I've made especially the Closet Core Patterns Sophie swimsuit 3 or 4 times, and I wear that exclusively in the summertime. But all 3 of my versions, I think the latest one dates back to 2021, so they're all about 4 to 6 years old, which means that their elasticity is shot for some of them, and they're not staying up as well. So the colors are fading, the elasticity is fading as well, and so it's not staying up as firmly, it's sort of bagging a little bit. And then especially, I want to make a one piece because even though I prefer bikinis for the fit, as in I get fewer wedgies with bikinis, even though, because I'm sewing my own bathing suit, I can lengthen the torso as much as I need to avoid wedgies, but that takes time to learn how to do and to do correctly. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I want to make one pieces because I like swimming in the ocean, and with the waves and the tide and everything, I find that my Sophie swimsuits, now that they're getting older, are not strong enough to face the waves. And especially the top half, even if I attach the straps, sort of flap open, which is unfortunate. Even though I'm in France and topless at the beach is not a crime, I prefer to keep that covered, just personal preference. And so I would like a one piece so that I can do more practical swimming without worrying about flashing everybody on the beach. Wish me courage. Boost my confidence in the comments if you'd like to, because I'm scared. I dislike sewing bathing suits, but I really want to make this one. It looks really, really cute on everyone I've seen it on Instagram when they've posted. It just looks universally flattering and just lovely, and I think it'll be really, really cool in this fabric. The next two projects I have in mind are light and airy summer blouses, and the first one is going to be in this fabric. So this is a cotton voile in this sort of lime green flowery design. It is transparent, or slightly transparent, and I found this at Sew Tissu, which is one of my favorite fabric shops in Paris, and I follow them online, and what's very, very dangerous is that often, as in 2 or 3 times a week, they do lives where they show fabrics or small quantities of fabrics that they have left. So usually it's sort of the end of the roll that they want to feature, and they usually feature 6 to 8 fabrics at a time. And it is dangerous because it is a video where they show you the fabric, they talk about what you can make with them, they show you the movement and the colors and the contents, and because it's the end of the roll, it creates this sense of urgency. And now they have a YouTube channel, so you can more easily fast forward to different fabrics and go backwards and put on the subtitles and perhaps even translate it. So if you're interested, I'm sorry if it becomes a dangerous purchasing hazard for you, but I have to limit how many I look at because, it's such beautiful quality fabrics. So they get their fabrics from some very, very high quality lines and luxury brands sometimes. And I'm pretty positive this is a luxury brand because it's just so soft and beautiful and good quality. And I would like to make the O's Patterns Delano blouse out of it. This is a pattern that I've been watching since it published a few years ago because I love it, but it's slightly outside of my comfort zone when it comes to tops because it is more blousy and larger in silhouette, and it takes up more space, which is great. And I love it on other people, but I'm not sure. I already have not wide shoulders, but I don't need to emphasize my shoulders versus my very small bust and waist. But I think in this fabric, I think it's going to look really, really lovely because it is slightly transparent and so airy and light and floaty that it's just going to billow really softly around my silhouette, and I think it's going to be lovely. And I absolutely love the details of this pattern. It has a really interesting neckline. So it's sort of a square neckline that then becomes a V-neck in the front with soft gathers right by the shoulders, and then these gathered sleeves that are kind of poofy but that end at the 3/4 length in a gathered narrow cuff. And I just love the look of that cuff. I love how it's not a straight line how it lays. It sort of lays diagonally along the arm and lengthens the arm, I think, and it just looks so beautiful. I would be making the blouse version, so it also exists in a dressed version, and I will probably be tucking it in to define my waist. Monty is the creator behind O's Patterns, and she is a friend of mine, so I am slightly biased when it comes to her patterns, but they are so well created and they have such interesting design details. They're really unique French patterns, and I'm excited to work on them and share my version with her. I'm sure she'll be really happy that I'm making it finally. The next project I'll be working on is with this 100% cotton and white window hatch sort of printed texture, or not printed, but woven texture that I found at a local haberdashery. And I won't say the name just to keep where I live private, but it's very expensive. So I don't go there very often. I first purchased this when I first moved in a few years ago because I was excited to have a haberdashery in the neighborhood, and then realized that everything was about 100% more expensive than where I usually shop in Paris, even though I'm in the suburbs. So I don't shop for fabrics there anymore, but this one I couldn't resist. I got 1 meter, so I've been very carefully saving it for a special project because it was stupid expensive. I think I paid like 25 euros for this meter. I can't remember, and that's a good thing. But I'd like to make the BF patterns Daphne top. And the Daphne top and dress have lots of different versions, and it looks like this very romantic vintage chemise style dress and top. And the one that I would like to make is the, I think, version 4, with the peplum and the button down front and the waist tie. I love vintage style chemises, especially from the 1920s, that sort of style. Oh, I find them so beautiful. And I've been looking for a pattern like this for a long, long time because I was too lazy to draft it myself. I'm not interested in pattern drafting for some reason, even just for myself. It's just not something that I want to do. And I'm so excited that they published this because it just looks absolutely perfect. Is that a stain on this fabric? Did they sell me a really expensive stained fabric? Oh, it looks like a grass stain, and it has been in my cupboard for years. It definitely didn't get stained in my house. The audacity. Anyway, I'll just cut around it. But I love the style of this, and I'm thinking of even inserting some insert lace along the panel. So there's a bodice sort of panel up at the neckline, and then there's slight gathers to create some volume rather than darts in the bust, and then it's got the button down and the waist tie and the peplum. Oh. And I'm thinking of putting insert lace underneath the bodice band right before the gathers. I'll have to find, so I do have some insert lace that I purchased in Japan, but it's more of a beige color and this is more of an optical white, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to use it. Also, I have some vintage mother of pearl buttons that I found at a northern French market that I went to last fall, and they also might be a little bit too beige to go with this fabric, but I think I'll be able to find some really special accessories to include, and I think it's going to be a really lovely, light sort of tank top with vintage details for the summertime. The next few projects are going to be in linen and linen skirts. So this is my linen skirt section because I love wearing linen in the summertime, especially white linen. I have a lot of white in this video, or in these plans, if you've noticed. I love wearing white. I think that I can pull it off pretty well. It sort of brings out the peachy tones in my skin and lips and the lighter colors in my eyes. I have this linen and viscose blend fabric. I think it's a cut of fabric, a 3-meter length pre-cut coupon, they call it in French, coupon, of fabric that I purchased from Coupon Saint-Pierre, I think. I have so much white linen, I'm not sure where it's from, but I think that's this one. And I would like to make the Clo bias skirt by Soften Studios. I have a love-hate relationship with bias cut garments. I think that I love the way they look on other people. I think they look so elegant. I love the flow of a bias cut fabric, but I don't like them on me because I really, really don't like when garments cling to my belly and my hips because those are the roundest parts of me, which is fine, and which is, you know, I accept that, I love my body, but, you know, that's just the way it is, and I don't really like emphasizing how round those parts of my body are, especially my bum, and so I always feel really self-conscious when there's fabric and a garment clinging to those parts of my body, and so I didn't immediately want to make this pattern when I saw it, but I've been seeing so many really beautiful versions in thicker fabrics. So the bias cut garments that I've tried in the past are with thinner, slinkier fabrics like viscose or silk, and this skirt is very often made in linen. And so I was perusing the versions that were posted on Instagram through the hashtag, and so many of these versions are in linen and they look so beautiful, and it looks like it has a soft A-line shape to it as well, and so it is not super clingy. And so I want to try to make it, especially because I've been wanting to try a bias cut garment in something other than viscose and silk. Especially I'd like to try making something in a wool crepe, for example, but that'll be for maybe fall. But I'd like to try make it in this white linen, because even though I will have to wear a slip or something underneath to keep my undergarments from showing through, I think it's going to be really lovely. I hope it will be, because I've seen a few white linen versions, especially Caroline of Blackbird Fabrics made a white linen version for her trip to Italy last summer, and she shared that I think through the newsletter and also on their Instagram account, the Blackbird Fabrics Instagram account, and it just looks so beautiful on her, and it just flows, and I know she wore it all last summer. It was featured in a lot of their posts, and it just looks lovely. So I'd like to imitate her and make it and see how it looks on me. The next linen skirt that I would like to work on this season is in this really gorgeous bouncy linen. It is 100% linen, and it is from Sacré Coupon, which is another one of my very favorite fabric shops in Paris. And this was on sale, 50% off. So I got this for 20 euros and 3 meters. So it was a pre-cut coupon of 3 meters. And Sacré Coupon has some of the most high quality linens that I can find in Paris, or that I know of in shops in Paris. And so to find some 50% off was a jackpot. And it is this really lovely blue and white check design or print. And it's just soft and bouncy, a little bit wrinkly. I just ironed this too, so you can see it's got a very relaxed look to it. And so I think it will look really, really good in a gathered skirt. And so I want to try making the Wardrobe by Me clawed skirt. I've never made this one either before, just like the Chloe bias skirt. But I have been seeing versions of it as well. So it is a pretty wide, so you use a pretty wide length of fabric that is slightly A-line and gathered into a waistband to create volume. It looks just lovely and flowy and loose and comfortable, and I think it'll be extra comfortable in this fabric. And I especially love check midi-length skirts that are flowy and voluminous. And so I want to try making it, especially because I do have other voluminous linen skirts, but in the past I was much more into circle skirts or skirts with a nipped-in waistband that was not elastic and a little bit more of a fit and flare shape. And I think as I'm getting older, or I don't think it has anything to do with age, I think as I'm evolving, or my style is evolving, I much prefer more A-line or straight skirts that have more volume, sort of distributed evenly from the waist to the hem. And so I think that this is going to be really lovely and bouncy and comfortable to wear, especially on days. I think it's going to be more like secret pajamas even. Walking around and lounging around the house, just so much volume it feels like you're not wearing anything. It's lovely. So I can't wait to get to that. I think that it's a lovely design. It's got inseam pockets. I'm going to make the midi length, and it has the wide waistband elastic, and it looks just simple and great. I have some more white linen on its way in the mail, so I'll just show you this one, the one that I just showed you for the Chloe bias skirt, because it is the same composition of fibers, so linen and viscose blend, and about the same weight. But I'd like to make for my third and maybe final summer skirt the True Bias Mauve skirt. I have been wanting to make a tiered skirt since it came back into fashion and it was popular a few years ago. I think that it is a very classic sort of bohemian style that comes and goes, but that is a staple for a wardrobe. Like, I don't mind wearing pleated skirts even 5 to 10 years after it was popular. I won't mind wearing tiered skirts even after it goes out of popularity. Especially in white, I think it will be really classic and lovely. And I've been looking for the right tiered proportions for a while, and in my opinion, for my taste, the True Bias Mauve skirt is the right proportions, or the proportions that I want in my tiered skirt. So I like that there's more volume in the first tier, so from the waist to about the hips. I like that there's more volume, and then it's not this sort of tighter top tier, which is more in fashion now, like the drop waist tier, because that is the widest point of my body, and I don't want fabric tight against my bum. I want to dissimulate that, you know, make it a little bit more romantic. I don't need help with volume in that area, and I don't want the gathers to be at my widest point, so like, anyway. So yeah, I like the first tier, and I like that it is a smaller first tier. I'm going to make the midi version with the 2 tiers, and I like that the second tier is longer, so it's not 3 even tiers, or 2 even tiers, but one that's longer, so 1/3 and then 2/3, and I think that looks really, really lovely. And it looks swingy and great, and it's got a waistband elastic, inseam pockets, And so yeah, it's gonna go with the mood that I want for this summer, which is just relaxed, comfortable linen and cottons. So those are all of the sewing projects that I have planned for this season, and I have others in mind, but I need to stay focused. Remember that quality is more important than quantity, and there will be other summer seasons, other summer sewing projects to get to. Yeah, that's the pep talk that I give myself to stay focused. But other than sewing projects, I also have a leather handbag project that I'd like to get to. So I recently made, a month or two ago, a leather handbag from a kit that Solace Leather sent to me for free in exchange for a review video. And it was the DB701 handbag, and I love it. I brought it with me to Japan, and it was so easy to get used to wearing it. Usually it takes me a few weeks to get used to wearing a new bag because, you know, the way you organize the interior and open it and handle it on your shoulder, it's different. But this one was just so easy. I adopted it right away, and it's got roomy interior, and it looks so stylish, and it's so easy to style crossbody or over the shoulder, and it's great. But they also contacted me to see if I wanted to make another bag, which is more of a classical design and larger than the one that I picked out. And I said yes, because I only have 3 bags, including the last one that I made, in rotation, and all of them are on the smaller size, and I've been thinking of either purchasing or making a bigger bag, and so I was delighted when they contacted me and offered to send me this one for free in exchange for a review post, which I will be doing soon because I haven't started it yet, and the plastic is really crinkly, so I'll try not to touch it. But it is the HB801 bag, which is a really classic design. It's got a rectangular shape to it and a top folded over closure with a little latch. It's got short handles and long handles for versatility of different ways to wear it, and it is wider and taller than the last bag that I made, and so it will be the biggest bag that I have, which will be super useful, I think, because I read a lot on my Kobo, so digital books, but I also like to read paperbacks, and my paperbacks don't fit in any of, especially when they're thicker, they don't fit in my bags. And so I end up having to wear a tote bag on the side and carry 2 bags on me. And so I'm hoping that with a bigger bag, I'll be able to carry everything in one bag and not have to bring a tote with me. And so I think it'll be really practical. And especially in this dark blue color, I think it will be a very classic, easy color to pair with more of my handmade wardrobe and handmade coats. And so I think that it will last me for years and be really versatile, much more wearable than any of the other bags that I have, and just great. For knitting, I have been working on this project for over a year, and it has been languishing off to the side for a while. I have lost my knitting motivation, but I'm trying to get it back. I have no idea where I left off with this project. I need to find my place. But anyway, this is the Andrea Mallory Hey Sailor cardigan that I've been working on, and the reason I picked it was not only for its shape. It's got a very classical boat neck and short sleeve shape with a button down. It's a cardigan, I think, that you can wear as a t-shirt also. If you button it all the way up, you can wear it with the buttons in the front or in the back, which is pretty cool. And what I chose it for especially was the colorwork. So it is a mosaic colorwork pattern, and it's really easy, but you do knit each row twice, so it's long. And for some reason, I've just put it down and haven't come back to it. I think I lost confidence in my color choices, and then also in the shape of the cardigan. I'm not sure that I will wear it very much when I make it, but I still want to soldier on because I think that this mosaic color work is a good skill to learn. I think that I will like it more when I finish it, especially because it's this pinky color and I look good in pink. So maybe I'll be flattered by the finished result and happy. Also, I'll be learning how to make a buttonhole band or a button band with a knitting project, because I've never done that before. I've always knit in the round before with no breaks for the side seams or no stitching to do after, no panels. So yeah, I'm gonna learn a lot with this. So I just need to get motivated to keep working on this and hopefully get to it. Then for embroidery, I have been taking over the last year and a half Kogin zashi classes, which is a style of Japanese traditional embroidery, with the Association Tarashine here in Paris. And there are 14 classes in total, and we are on the last session, I think in about 10 days, which is kind of sad because we've been meeting for the last year and a half. It's just 4 people, including me and the teacher, and it's been kind of like private classes, and it's been so lovely. But in the last session, she's going to teach us how to put together different Kogin zashi patterns so that you can have a band or larger area of Kogin zashi wherever you want to embroider it, because it's another technique like sashiko that is used to reinforce or thicken fabric for warmth and sturdiness. And I think that's going to be really, really cool because it's a geometric shape. It's counted stitches and straight stitches and more densely packed stitches than sashiko, for example. And I think that it looks really, really cool. I'm probably not going to integrate any Kogin zashi into any of my summer projects for the moment. I don't have any immediate plans. And I'm going to want to have some kind of embroidery project in my hands. And so I thought I would work on this project, which is a kit that I purchased in Fukuoka when my husband and I went to Japan for our honeymoon back in 2024. I can't remember the shop name. It's a really, really big shop in Fukuoka. It's got fabric and notions and embroidery and all kinds. It's amazing. But I'll link it below. And it's this pouch. So it is a dark beige color pouch with a zipper, and then it comes with this dark blue-green thread and needles, and I'm assuming the pattern or the repeat pattern that you're meant to count out yourself to stitch this. And I think it's just a really lovely design, and I think it's going to be a great in-between project from my classes to integrating it into a sewing project. And also I'm always in need of a pouch. I don't have enough pouches in my life to organize all of my things, so I think it's going to be really practical and also portable all summer in case we go away and I need something to keep my hands busy on vacation. So those are all of the sewing, knitting, embroidery, Japanese inspiration, cottons, colors that I'm going to be making with this summer season. I hope that you enjoyed this video, that it was inspiring to you, and let me know what you will be working on this summer season. I am always inspired by what you mentioned. The patterns that you mentioned are typically outside of what I'm aware of, and so yeah, don't hesitate to share what you're working on this season with me. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to like and subscribe and share it with whoever you think might enjoy it as well. And if you would like to contribute to this channel, I would be very, very grateful. You can leave a tip via my Ko-fi link that I will link in the description below, or with the YouTube Super Thanks button, which is in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, if you prefer that method. But any tips would be greatly appreciated. It helps to support this channel so much and create a living wage for what I'm doing here. I'm very, very grateful for everyone who has contributed so far. It has been so helpful. I hope you are all doing well, that your summer is not too hot, but beautiful and bountiful and lovely. I will see you again here soon with a new video. Take care and bye-bye.